Let's talk about a fun little function from Async.js called async.compose. Async.compose will take a number of functions and then compose them together and execute them from inside to outside. So if you remember back in school where we have parentheses inside of a mathematical equation, you will usually work the things inside the parentheses first all the way to the outside. So this is very similar to how async composition works. So let's say I have a function here called add5. It takes a number and then it calls the callback with the number plus 5. Here's a function called times 10. It does the same thing except it returns a callback with the null in the first parameter, which is the error code. We don't have any errors here, so we're just going to return the number times 10. So here we have a variable called calculate, which calls async.compose of add5 times 10. So what this does is it passes in these two functions in there and then compose them together. What you have now is basically this. So we call calculate with the initial value of 5 and then a callback function to get the results. So when you call calculate of an initial value of 5, what it does is it calls compose with these two functions inside. So the function inside the second parameter will be called with the value of the initial 5 as the function parameter. So it calls times 10 first, and then it calls add5 to the result of whatever this is. So when you want to calculate 5, what do you think the result is? Let's check it out. I got 55. So it actually is correct because you started with a value 5 here, and then 5 times 10 is 55, and then the result of that is we add 5 to 55. We add 5 to 50, which results in 55. So it's a bit different in that you have to work from inside out. If you want to test this out with a different thinking, there's a async.seq function, which makes it a lot easier to reason about when you look at it. Here we call the calculate function with the seeding value of 5, and then we pass it into the async.seq function with add5 and times 10 function. So what this does is it basically does it in order, add5 times 10. So it basically let's check it out. So it's 55 again. I forgot to save. Let's check it out again. Now you get 100. Now how is that possible? How does it get 100 when you do async.seq? Well, it turns out it does the reverse order of inside out. This one does it outside in. So you start with the value of 5, you add 5 to it, you get 10. And now you call times 10, which is 10 times 10 is 100. So it depends on what makes sense to you. You can use these two useful utility functions to compose your functions together.